Yo. Long day today, busy day today, highlight of the day today. Not much of a highlight, but unfortunately we lost in the playoffs today for intramurals basketball. It was an unfortunate loss. Not much to say. We tried our best. Unfortunately, we didn't have a big man this game, and it was much needed. So, not a good way to end the night, but this might help. So, let's learn something new. And we are, because we're going to be habit 5. I'll try to keep it short and sweet today because I got to go to bed. But habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Principles of empathetic communication. The heart has its reasons which reason knows not of. Pascal. Suppose you've been having trouble with your eyes and you decide to go to optometrist for help. After briefly listening to your complaint, he takes off his glasses and hands them to you. Put these on, he says, I've worn this pair of glasses for 10 years now and they've really helped me. I've had an extra pair at home, you can wear these. So you put them on, but it only makes the problem worse. This is terrible, you exclaim. I can't see a thing. Well, what's wrong? He asks. They work great for me. Try harder. I am trying, you insist. Everything is a blur. Well, what's the matter with you? Think positively, okay? I positively can't see a thing. Boy, are you ungrateful, he chides. And after all I've done to help you, what are the chances you'd go back to the optometrist the next time you needed help? Not very good, I can imagine. You don't have much confidence in someone who doesn't diagnose before he or she prescribes. But how often do we diagnose before we prescribe in communication? Come on, honey, tell me how you feel. I know it's hard, but I'll try to understand. Oh, I don't know, Mom. You'd think it was stupid. Of course I wouldn't. You can tell me, honey. No one cares for you as much as I do. I am only interested in your welfare. What's making you so unhappy? Oh, I don't know. Come on, honey. What is it? Well, to tell you the truth, I just don't like school anymore. What? You respond incredulously. What do you mean you don't like school? And after all the sacrifices we made for your education, educates the foundation of your future. If you'd apply yourself like your older sister does, you'd be better and then you'd like school. Time and time again, we've told you to settle down. You've got the ability, but you just don't apply yourself. Try harder, get a positive attitude out of it. Pause. Now go ahead, tell me how you feel. We have such a tendency to rush in to fix things up with good advice, but we often fail to take the time to diagnose, to really deeply understand the problem first. If I were to summarize in one sentence the single most important principle I've learned in the field of interpersonal relations, it would be this. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. This principle is the key to effective interpersonal communication. Character and communication. Right now, you're reading a book I've written. Reading and writing are both forms of communication, so are speaking and listening. In fact, those are the 4 basic types of communication, and think of all the hours you spent doing at least one of those 4 things. The ability to do them well is obviously critical to your effectiveness. Communication is the most important skill in life. We spend most of our waking hours communicating, but consider this. You've spent years learning how to read and write, years learning how to speak, but what about listening? What training or education have you had that enables you to listen so that you really deeply understand another human being from that individual's own frame of reference? Comparatively, few people have had any training in listening at all, and for the most part, their training has been in the personal ethic of technique, truncated from the character base and the relationships. Sorry, this is very unprofessional, but just want to check something out. Relationships based obviously vital to authentic understanding of another person. If you want to interact effectively with me, to influence me, your spouse, your child, your neighbor, your boss, your coworker, your friend, you first need to understand me, and you can't do that with technique alone. If I sense you're using some technique, I sense duplicity, manipulation. I wonder why you're doing it, what your motives are, and I don't feel safe enough to open myself up to you. The real key to your influence with me is your example, your actual conduct. For example, flows naturally out of your character or the kind of person you truly are. Now, what others say you are or what you want me to think you are, it is evident in how I actually experience you. Your character is constantly radiating, communicating. From it, in the long run, I come to instinctively trust or distrust you and your efforts with me. If your life runs hot and cold, if you're both chaotic and kind, and above all, if your private performance doesn't square with your public performance, it's very hard for me to open up with you. Then, as much as I may want and even need to receive your love and influence, I don't feel safe enough to expose my opinions and experiences and my tender feelings. Who knows what will happen? But unless I open up with you, unless you understand me and my unique situation and feelings, you don't know how to advise or console me. What you say is good and fine, but it doesn't quite pertain to me. You may say you care and appreciate me. I desperately want to believe that, but how can you appreciate me when you don't even understand me? All I have are your words, and I can't trust words. I'm too angry and defensive, perhaps too guilty and afraid to be influenced, even though inside I know I need what you could tell me. Unless you're influenced by my uniqueness, I'm not going to be influenced by your advice. So if you want to be really effective in the habit of interpersonal communication, you cannot do it with technique alone. You have to build the skills of empathetic listening on a base of character that inspires openness and trust. And you have to build the emotional bank accounts that create a commerce between hearts. Take a pause there. One very insightful thing that was brought up is that we are not taught how to listen, but we are taught how to read and write. And sometimes that comes in conflict with a lot of individuals in terms of having listening skills underdeveloped. And I think it's a really crucial one to think about. Listening is very important to not only understand what they're saying, but to empathetically hear what they're saying. What is their tone of voice? What is their behavior? Not just listen on certain key words that they use, but really try to understand the overall thing that they're trying to explain. And one thing that I have noticed about my listening over the years is to truly listen. Shut up, don't give advice, and just listen. Listen deeply to what they're saying, listen deeply to what they're trying to express, and once you think you have an opportunity to speak or they tell you to speak, then this is from Simon Sinek, I believe, or Daniel Pink. I can't remember exactly who this came from, but then you ask the question, do you just want me to sit here and listen, or do you want me to give advice? You propose the question. And I think that's a very valuable aspect when perhaps someone's going through a difficult time, or they're going through, a very specific situation where they may want to just express how they're feeling, but also perhaps, they may be seeking advice. So asking those two questions is very important. But needless to say, I think what's really important is the idea of just listening and understanding that these skills are something that you build on because it's not something that was taught. So yeah, I'll take a pause there. It's late, gotta go to bed, but still gotta get some reading in. So yeah.